Let's do this WrestleMania shit.
Knuckles. And this is kind of where I want to emphasize, I don't hate the Wade Whipple character. I find him fun and funny. I don't like the comments where some of y'all say I look like Wade Whipple, because now we're getting personal and you're making me mad. But the little montage in his head of what he thinks is about to go down and this like secret agent persona he's built up about how he's gonna save Knuckles, all very funny stuff. I mean, the dude at one point thinks he's gonna pull off the Mission Impossible zipline move with a piece of floss. That thing would rip right off, dude. But this is also stuff I've been seeing people say is corny, cringy, and just overly silly, and I do gotta admit, the Knuckles TV series takes that humor to a little bit more of a silly level. There's already elements of that in the movies, but in the show, it became like a Saturday cartoon. But of course, his plan fails miserably, terribly, and embarrassingly for Wade, where he's just watching his dang car explode. This stuff I can't help but to laugh at. I did actually genuinely find this funny. It's definitely a preference thing here, because when he was fighting Agent Mason, Kid Cudi's character, and then he's on the phone with his mom, and the back and forth they have there about, oh yeah, take that call. Now, we're friends? I giggled, and I thought that was actually funny. All in all, though, Wade Whipple saves Knuckles, they escape, and we get one of the coolest Easter eggs in reference to the video games, Knuckles' gliding ability. They pull off a little E.T. reference where they go over the moon. I love how they even clarify for some of the fans unaware of Knuckles' ability, because Wade's like, I didn't know you could fly, and Knuckles is like, I'm not flying, this is gliding. Ending episode 2 with the boys on the road, headed off to safety, because now they're wanted criminals showing up at the door of Mama Wade Whipple's house. And again, at this point, I'm still on board. Episode 2 was fun, a little bit more cringy and silly humor in there, but I was having a good time. Nothing was totally turning me away yet, and we get to episode 3. By episode 3 of the Knuckles TV series, this is where it basically stops becoming a Knuckles show and fully transitions into the Wade Whipple show. The entire episode is dedicated to meeting the family of Wade Whipple, from his mom and his FBI sister Wanda, that has also become the most hated character among Sonic fans. The day the show premiered, I cannot tell you how many posts I saw from fans of Sonic saying they absolutely hate Wanda. And honestly, I kind of don't blame them. Wanda is made out to be an extremely unlikable character. But this entire episode just completely went off the rails and started becoming something so different than what I expected the Knuckles TV series to be. A show where I thought we would get more details into Knuckles' life, what he's like, or his transition into being happy on Earth, becomes way more about doing that, but for Wade Whipple. I mean, he was a fun character in the background of the first 2 Sonic movies, but do I really need to see what his mom is like, what his sister's like, what their terrible family dinner fights are like? And I also feel like there's just such a giant missed opportunity in terms of the writing and how they could have connected Wade Whipple's story into Knuckles, because there's a lot of Jewish heritage in here. Wade and Knuckles made it in time for a Jewish tradition known as Shabbat, where they gather around, have a meal until the candles go out. In the Whipple home, it always ends up being a disaster where I guess sisters stab their brothers with forks. Like, I get this is a comedy show and this is a universe with aliens and whatnot. What sister is stabbing their brother with a fork at the dinner table? What? But there are a small sliver of genuinely sentimental moments with the mother going, I miss when the family was together. I miss these dinners. I've had them alone for so long. Like, Knuckles can so relate to that. All his people are dead. They even make a bit of a Holocaust reference in here with Knuckles going, all my people were killed by owls. And the mom's like, oh, a lot of my people were killed too. We're not so different. You basically are Jewish, Knuckles. But it never really clicks for Knuckles that it's like, oh, I do miss my people. I wish I was around them. I can relate to you guys. They never fully lean into that. It's all overshadowed with just some of the most outlandish, ridiculous scenes and just even more heightened silly comedy. I will say though, I was happy to get a Keanu Reeves reference when Knuckles goes into the room of Wade Whip. Now that he's the voice of Shadow, that felt like a pretty big Easter egg. It's like, oh, Keanu. But because the boys are on the run right now and mercenaries are after them, a couple of bounty hunters show up at the house of Wade Whipple to take him in for the bounty money. And again, as cringy or just odd as some of the comedic scenes are becoming, the action scenes are treated with top-notch quality. This intro transition of Knuckles coming in to save Wade Whipple and getting all electrified and jumping to punch that guy, sweet. The like ultra generic 80s bad guy whipping the chain around I thought was kind of cool. But it was this rotating kitchen scene that happens in episode 3 that I was like, this fight scene right here just saved this entire episode. That was awesome. And they almost hit that sentimental note with the candles going out as Knuckles and Wade Whipple's family see them end. That's how episode 3 ends. And yeah, this is where I started feeling mixed. This is where I started to see the red flags and go, okay, that was a little odd. Way more Wade Whipple and family than I would have expected. But that action scene was awesome. Knuckles is still a part of it. Let me click on episode 4 and hopefully things go good. Episode 4 is probably the most controversial episode yet. So now with episode 4 of the Knuckles TV series, we have Wade Whipple waking up in his destroyed home from the night before. He's thinking it's going to be a great day since he avoided the bounty hunters and everything's going to be fine until he gets snatched by his former bowling partner wanting to collect his bounty. And although Knuckles is in the beginning of this episode, that's about as much as we get of him in episode 4. This is one of those episodes where Knuckles just isn't a large part of it. Instead, the entire dedication of this episode is for Wade to finally get that Echidna Warrior training without Knuckles there to train him. Dude, it's baffling how badly they missed the mark on this. Like, when I heard the show was about Knuckles training Wade Whipple, showing him the ways of the Echidna, I thought we would get scenes like almost like in the opening intro where they're doing the little Karate Kid pose in the animation. Some actual scenes of like Wade and Knuckles maybe in the forest. Wade maybe attempting to do that crazy opening trial run that Knuckles did in the opening of episode 1. I did not think the entirety of Wade Whipple's training with Knuckles was all going to happen without Knuckles there on the phone through meditation in a crazy dream sequence. And you know, it kind of hurts my heart a little bit to say because episode 4 is directed by Jerma Tacome, who's actually also cast in Sonic Movie 3. He's one of the members of the Lonely Island, so you get a lot of Lonely Island flavor in this episode. And I'm a huge fan of the Lonely Island, and I have seen Sonic fans mix. Some people love what they did here in putting Wade in this kind of Knuckles mascot outfit as they go through the backstory of Knuckles and somehow try to tie it into Wade Whipple's current life. But there are also others like me who do not like this episode all that much. I was honestly very taken out with episode 4. Do I think it's creative and interesting with what they went with, this kind of like rock musical that goes through the life of Knuckles? Yes, it's creative. Do I love the set pieces where they get actual things that look like Sonic levels and put them out there? Yo, yeah, that was awesome. But just thinking that they could have done this with the CGI quality and given us the showdown between Knuckles and this villain, Iblis, who hopefully I'm pronouncing that correct, which is a real Sonic character and villain from the video games, most notably the 2006 Sonic the Hedgehog video game. In episode 4, they finally throw in real Sonic lore that expands the universe, and they let us know at one point Knuckles fought Iblis, had a battle with him, defeated him, and earned himself the Fire Knuckles. You're like, this happened in the Sonic universe? Knuckles went through this? And there's plenty of times throughout the TV show where Knuckles just offhandedly mentions, oh, I was betrayed once, or I spent many months fattling Gorkins on planet Yargan, or something like that. Why can't we see those tales of Knuckles going through these battles, fighting this monster with the gorgeous CGI that you've included in the show? Would it have been expensive? Probably. Is that why they most likely did this entire backstory of Knuckles through Wade Whipple in a mascot costume? For sure. Doing the full-blown movie CGI version probably would have cost millions of dollars, and instead they spent about like 300 bucks. And I guess that's the kind of thing that bothered me about episode 4, is it looks like this is the episode where you found out you ran out of money. Where you were making episode 1, 2, and 3, things were going great, and you're like, the budget's gone? The budget's not gone. The budget's gone. Oh my god. Put Wade Whipple in a Knuckles costume. So, yeah, was it awesome to know that Knuckles went through this amazing fighting journey with this, like, gigantic fire monster? Yeah, I just kind of hate the way it was presented, even more with the way Wade Whipple finally becomes a warrior without Knuckles there, through meditation, all on his own. It's like, is Knuckles then even really training Wade, or was it always inside him? You know, that kind of cheesy thing. Ending the episode off with Wade Whipple winning and the boys heading off to Reno for the bowling tournament. Yeah, episode 4 to me was unfortunately the episode where I was like, the red flags were flaring, and now we're in full-blown, okay, what the frick territory. I still clicked onto episode 5 hoping that they could, kind of make it about Knuckles again and focus more on him, but, get ready for some bowling lore. And well, episode 5 of the Knuckles series is again more dedicated to Wade Whipple, but this time getting it revealed that his father is actually his enemy, Pistol Pete, who abandoned his family when he was a kid to be this kind of bowling professional and celebrity, and that's why Wade really wants to win this tournament to impress his father and hopefully rekindle that love. His mom and sister Wanda have accompanied them, and they get a little bit to do in here, and like, it's all fine. It's good enough. Again, I don't hate Wade Whipple or even the things involved with his family. It's just like, this isn't what I kind of wanted to see. I don't need this much fleshing out on such a side background character like Wade Whipple, especially when we are given sliver of moments of things that expand the Sonic universe, because episode 5 does reveal some interesting Easter eggs and lore for the larger Sonic world, because while all this is going